Okay, so now that we've sort of adjusted some of the lens distortion on the shot, let's talk about the next issue, and that's stabilizing the shot. If I go ahead and play it back, yeah, it looks okay, but you know, Rich wasn't all that stable with the shot, but I understand why. Let's go ahead and actually stabilize the shot. And what I'm gonna do is come back over to my effects panel here, and let's go ahead and search for something. I'm gonna search for warp. There it is, warp stabilizer. And the warp stabilizer has been applied. And what you'll see happening here is that you get this blue bar that says analyzing in the background, step 1 of 2. Now this is important. It is analyzing the shot for motion changes, but it does happen in the background. So you can continue to work on the rest of your project while the shot is analyzing. And over here in the effects controls panel under warp stabilizer, you can see an estimate of how much time or how many frames that the warp stabilizer effect has left to process. So this is going pretty quick. We'll just give it another second to finish. So now that it's finished analyzing the shot, it's now stabilizing the shot using some of the base parameters. Well, what do I mean by base parameters? Let's go ahead and make our effects controls a little bit bigger. Under here in the stabilization category, we have the first option for result. And this is an important choice to make. You have two choices, no motion or smooth motion. And as their names imply, no motion is going to give you a very locked down looking shot. Kind of like you put the camera on a tripod and you don't want any movement in the shot. Now, in my personal experience, I kind of don't like that look. Because in the real world, even if you were on a tripod, the camera operator is probably moving the head of the tripod ever so slightly to kind of get that floating look. That's why I prefer the smooth motion look. In addition, shots that need a lot of stabilization, yeah, they don't really work well with a no motion parameter. So smooth motion, again, for high motion or shots that you really need to stabilize, smooth motion is the better bet. Next, you can adjust the smoothness, going from 50% all the way down to 0 or upwards. Just scroll up here. I'm gonna try to smooth it on this shot about 60, 62. And then under method, you have a couple choices here. You can adjust for just position, scale, rotation, perspective, and then subspace warp. Next, under borders, what are we gonna do with framing? The default is stabilize the shot, crop it, and then auto scale the shot up so we don't see any borders that are potentially created as it stabilizes. And then there are some advanced controls that you can explore on your own, but I think this is gonna work pretty well. Okay, so our render has finished, and again, just be aware that this can take some time depending on the length of the clip and sort of the speed and power of your computer. But it's all done here on my system, and I'm gonna go ahead and select the program monitor again and press the Grave or tilde key to make it nice and big, and let's go ahead and play this back. Now remember, we first got rid of sort of the lens distortion in the shot because it was a GoPro camera. We have some nice new presets that Adobe's provided to fix lens distortion, which I think are great, and then we use the warp stabilizer here in Premiere Pro to stabilize the shot. Let's go ahead and play it back. So in your own projects, I think it's important to be on the lookout for places where you can stabilize footage. Just don't go overboard because you'll waste a lot of time processing and rendering shots. And when it comes to fixing lens problems, if you're using a GoPro or maybe a DJI Phantom Vision 2 system, something like that, you now have presets directly inside of Premiere to fix those camera systems. Can you use those presets on other cameras? Sure, you can try, but just be aware that they're not profiled for the lenses that are used on those camera systems.